Hey there guys, what's going on and welcome back to our channel. Want to earn without getting involved in any enterprise? Then we have the perfect investments for you. Today, we'll talk about the top 5 investments of all time for passive income. Number 6, dividend stocks. Dividend stocks are famous when it comes to creating passive income. It's simple and investors are already interested in it. Yes, there's no rocket science behind it. As public companies generate profits, a portion of those earnings are siphoned off and funneled back to investors in the form of dividends. Then, investors get to choose whether they want to pocket the cash or reinvest the money in additional shares. Dividend yields can vary from one company to another. And not just that, they can also fluctuate from year to year. If you're unsure about which company to choose, then simply stick to the ones that fit the dividend aristocrat label, which means the company has at least a 25-year track record of paying out substantial dividends.
Apple now is the highest dividend payer in the world. When you look at just dollars going back to shareholders, Apple is number 1 in dividend payouts.
Number 5, alternative investments. So the first type of investment that we're going to talk about is the alternative investment. You might be thinking what that is, right? So let's stop with the guessing game and tell you right away. There are a few investments which an individual makes and thinks that it would give him a good return, but that's not the deal. It's kind of like a coping mechanism for humans. They don't want to accept the reality and are happy in denial. Alternative investments are about the things that we buy and keep it with ourselves to sell them off later. You might be wondering about what comes under these investments. These investments include money spent on cars, watches, and anything that an individual has the mind to sell off to the next person in hopes of getting more what they had spent over that specific object. This investment has a higher rate of risk than the rate of return. This is why this type of investment falls at the end of the list. Although this investment doesn't always work out for an individual and the rate of return is low, this is one of the top investments of all time.
Alternative investments can be anything that's not stocks, bonds, or cash. That basically is a further diversification of the investment strategy.
Number 4, P2P lending. So moving on with the list, the next investment that we have here is P2P lending. To avoid any confusion, let's discuss a little bit more about what this investment is. It's person-to-person borrowing. A company takes out an individual's money, then gives that money out to people or small businesses who fail to receive loans from the bank through a traditional system. This process is easy and can be done online in a few minutes, but that doesn't mean the risk is as minimal as the time invested. But the higher the risk, the more the return. So the rate of return in this investment is around 4 to 7%, which is pretty great. An individual must be careful before finalizing the deal with the opposite party, since not all individuals are economically stable to pay back the amount. This investment type is all about making choices wisely. As long as the individual knows what they're dealing with, they're good to go.
Drilling deeper with Lending Club, LC, for you home gamers, the world's largest peer-to-peer online lending marketplace.
Number 3, royalties. Do you have any hidden talent? If you do, then it's time to use it to earn some money. It may be hard to believe, but it's indeed true, as this is the kind of investment to do such a thing. It's how music artists and content creators earn money. People put out their skills and products for sale. This investment is called royalties, and it's not us who are developing that product, but we reach out to companies who back us up and help us with that product. Once that's done, the product gets launched in the market for sale. This investment is not only about tangible products, but also about intangible goods, like when one creates courses of their own. These courses contain content regarding knowledge that the individual has. It can be related to anything you know about and can teach people about it. It's indeed one of the best ways through which one can earn passive income. The level of risk in this one is pretty low since you've got nothing to lose, but at the same time, one must have confidence in their product or else no company would agree to support them. So go ahead and start thinking about what you can offer to the market.
It's a tangible, even tradable asset class now. Why?
Well, obviously the song is the currency on which...
Number 2, YouTube revenue. YouTube has made our lives so much easier as the years go by. We can take courses on YouTube, learn new recipes, and just so much more. The more videos you watch, the more you help the creator earn money. You might not know what we're talking about, but it's indeed true. Making videos to upload them on YouTube isn't passive since it requires lots of dedication and involvement. But when the video is up, people start watching it. That's when the individual begins earning their passive income. Although creating content is a task, it's easy to say that the revenue on that video comes to the individual as long as the video stays on YouTube. It means that you might be just in your bed using your phone and doing nothing, but you'd still be earning money through that video that you uploaded a few months back. Isn't that just amazing? This happens with the help of ads from companies that sponsor your videos. Although you don't always have a good amount, as the payment is according to the views of the video, it's still worth something. To get a higher return through this investment, it's necessary for the individual to focus on the content they're creating. It's a must for the video to be fun and attractive. Through this, people must revisit your videos, which leads to more views. So don't wait anymore and get right on it if you have the passion and creativity to back it up.
And I think it's really inspiring how young YouTubers can afford with their first bit of earned money, buy a Lambo, buy a Ferrari.
Number 1, real estate. No matter how many types of investments that we talked about, there will always be one winner. If you don't know what type of investment we're talking about, you should know that it's real estate investment, which is indeed one of the top, if not the top investment of all time. That's because you can own up to $100 of real estate for only $20 because of leverage, so that gives an individual all the reasons to opt for this type of investment. But one thing that should always be kept in mind when dealing with real estate is that it isn't easy, and an individual must have a lot of experience to deal with different parties. Not everyone can get into this type of thing as it requires a certain temperament, but one can always try for sure. The other thing which comes with this type of investment is that you don't have to care about the taxes. One can smartly write off their taxes to offset their income. So yes, taxes like property taxes can be dealt with without any problem. This investment might seem easy, but it does come with its own share of risks that are better to avoid, and then you're good to go.
2019, there was 52 trades in the first quarter. So you can argue, statistically speaking, we are exactly where we should be.
So these were the top 5 investments of all time. Some might rate the investments another way, but as long as it's working for them, then that's great. Do let us know your thoughts about all of these in the comments down below, and I'll be catching you guys later in another video. Bye now.